Happy Tuesday, everybody. Happy Tuesday, and welcome to the Rig on Wheel Show. I am your host, Kameel E Gaines, and this is the Rig on Wheel Show featuring MVT, your first and ever truck driver recruitment show. And like I said, I am your host, Kameel E Gaines. And normally we have our favorite VP of recruiting, but today we got our favorite internal recruiter, Josue, here with us. But as usual, we're going to be here sharing all the good and not so good news, right? All our hot jobs. Of course, we have other jobs as well, but all of our hot jobs. We're going to share trucking tips, truck driver tips, recruitment tips, also tips directly from recruiters at MVT. So that's going to be priceless. I really love when Josue is on here because he can give us tips, quote unquote. So we're gonna get this party started like right now. I'm gonna bring the camera closer because I look like a little girl in here. Definitely nobody told me. But right before I got on here, Kayla was laughing because I almost fell off the chair. Josue would have come on and I wouldn't even been in the in the little square. But let's get this started. I want to kind of talk about the news. Some of this, when we talk about the rates, are in Pearson's terms, it's just kind of we're not gonna know where these rates fall for us for the next couple of weeks because of Hurricane Milton. First, I want to talk about everybody that was affected by that. It was horrible. Florida is getting pounced. Before that, it was Helen, and Helen affected Florida, but then also affected other states. We know North Carolina, but Virginia and other states as well. So we definitely don't want to not talk about those because we remember Katrina and everybody just spoke about Louisiana, but it was other states like Mississippi that got affected just as much. So I want to definitely talk about that and speak about how my heart goes out to Florida. And, you know, for us, when we are in Texas, even Josue, even though they are in El Paso, they're not really one of us. But, you know, we're sitting outside and we're enjoying the weather and we feel kind of, it feels good, but then we feel kind of bad because we like, damn, you know, they're going through such hardship. So my heart really goes out to them because they have to rebuild. And as I hear it, they got another hurricane or storm at least building up there in the ocean. So just my heart really goes out, and I really have, you know, quite a few friends and stuff like Eileen D out there. So it just a lot happens with that. So I just want to put my arms around everybody down there in Florida and just be like, you know, I just wish all of you all the best because it's not just a storm, but it's the rebuilding after and everything that goes on. And if you've never gone through anything like that, it's years. Everybody talks about months, but it's the years after. Josue, do you all have to deal with anything like that in El Paso?
You know what? Thankfully not. And kind of like what you were saying, sometimes like even when everything was going on with Florida,
Mhm.
like we even feel it over here because we just can't be hanging out having fun. Like we see it in the news, and I'm just like, poor people. Like at some point, you kind of just count your blessings, but just also pray for them, because it's I can't just picture what they're going through and how it feels. So usually when I talked to drivers last week from Jacksonville, man, like I could hear it in their voice. I could, they're talking about insurances and damage into their house, and I've never gone through that, but I could just imagine. I feel it. I just, like you said, put our arms around them, and hopefully everything's okay and rebuild for sure.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's definitely it's a lot. So definitely. So let's get into it. During week of 40, the aftermath of Hurricane Helen, then we're talking about now Milton and everything. So the rates are definitely increasing and going crazy. Now, for all of the owner operators that have never been through all of the seasons, and when I talk about seasons, I'm talking about the crazy hurricane, or if not even hurricane, but storms or anything that brings such a jolt. Don't go out and do crazy purchases because of increases that are not normal. So be smart with your pocketbook and maybe do leases, okay, where you can give back equipment or whatever it is, supplies. But dry van has been seeing an increase of more than 7 cents. Um, uh, the low volume more than 8%. Reefer more than 8 cent, and flatbed more than 9. Now, what I will say is, I feel that flatbed is going to continue to do well because, just as I was saying, first of all, we're heading into a flatbed season anyway, but with flatbed, with all of this rebuilding and everything, we're going to need what lumber, all of that great stuff. When it comes to refrigeration, the medical supplies, and all of that, when you think about what is going to be needed, uh, let's just point this out. Trucking is here just to save the world. We, everybody in our industry are heroes. So let's just point that out. So overall, the spot load has availability has increased over 7.5% from the previous week. So as carriers move through the affected areas, um, just remember that. But be smart with your pocketbooks. Okay? Definitely be smart. So if you're dealing with CPAs and your accountants and things like that, and if they're not used to a trucking or supply chain industry, I'm not a financial guru. But what I do know is you need to deal with CPAs and people smarter than I, but you need to deal with ones that are used to things in our industry. Okay? Remember that because they understand the ups and downs that are in our industry and the different regional spikes. Because what is going on in the southeast or along the eastern corridor is different than what's going on in the north. So definitely know that. Do you have anything or whatever to say about this spike?
Oh no, I mean you covered everything well, and it's good that you're saying about the business how it fluctuates. It goes up and down, and good pointers of not overspending and stuff like that. So no, I mean you covered everything perfectly fine.
Okay. So I just want to let you know he used me and perfect in the same sentence. We're going to definitely pull that out in real. And we're going to say that is not what he said, but it doesn't matter. When you put it in a short, you can use it however you want. It's just going to go on for all type of stuff. But let's talk about diesel right now because it has been inching up, but we know we it's not a real inch. It is because it affects your pocketbook, but it's not really because of what's going on. But either way, it's $3.58 is the average. Um, a lot of people have not been reporting it because yesterday was a holiday, so I had to do some digging to get it. But I definitely got it before the podcast. However, it's still $1.01 less than it was this time last year, because this time last year was $4.59. So I want to throw that out there. So some of the news that's kind of still affecting us here in the good old America is our presidential elections. Good Lord, I'm so tired of this. I'm so ready for November 5th to come. I don't care who, red or blue. I'm just ready for it to be over. It is giving me heartburn. What about you, Kayla? Are you getting heartburn? You need some
Oh yeah.
to go? Yeah, I'm ready. I'm done with everything that's going on. We're over it. Josue, what about you?
Same here. Just can't wait for that day. Okay, and then pick whoever you pick and just move forward for sure.
Yes, it's just what it is. We just know Pearson's person is not going to win. Oliver Twist, it's. I literally have to look up his person. I just really thought it was a joke, but no, it is a real person. It's a real person. Um, so that definitely is one thing that is going on that I am liking is that our associations, our trucking associations, and Teamsters, when it comes to the trucking, and they're actually making a stance verbally when it comes to this election. A lot of times, our associations take the back burner. So I like change. I like shakeups. Even though it give me heartburn and stuff like that, I do. I can't say I like it because it means that it's a new sheriff. You know, we're doing something different, whether we like it or not. I like it. That's what I like. I do like. I like the new change. So that's important for me. Um, Florida is still going through temporary closes when it comes to the port. That probably will be for a while. And when it does open back up, the governor down there had already, because of the good guy that didn't know what he was doing when it came to the strike, um, anyway, had pulled the governor down there. Not that I'm a fan of the governor, but something that he did do right for once was bring in the National Guards to help out when it came to the port closures. So I know that when they open up the ports, he'll definitely do that because it's just going to be so much turmoil um, that the Floridians are doing. I really like that name, Floridians. That they're going to be going through and a widespread damage and destruction and everything. So he has been great with that. So the Milton's impact, uh, with it just being so much, whenever they're able to get that open back up, I know that he's gonna bring that out because that freight that's coming out of Florida going in, just everything is just so much going on there when it comes to the supply chain. So now we do still have the economic concerns with the prolonged 2 year freight recession. This is part of the reason why everybody in the supply chain just feels like the earth is ghetto right now. And we are ready for this election to be over. Mainly, it's not about, for anybody that knows economics, it does not matter who your president is this go round. 2025 is just ready for the freight cycle to turn. However, knowing whoever the president is, it will let the companies know which way they need to do it. Okay. And that will get us to know, okay, so do we need to do that? Do we need to do this? Do we need to start buying trucks? Do we need to start leasing? Do we need, things like this? Okay. It really will help John Deere to know how they're going to move because of tariffs or no tariffs. Are we talking about more taxes, less taxes? Y'all get the point, right? Okay. So those are some of the things. I don't want to get too political. I don't want people to feel like that, but that's literally what the thing here is. Companies just to need to know what side of the fence so we know what to do in 2025 because we know we're going to get a breath of fresh air. We just need to know which way we're blowing. I felt like I was a rapper. No, not so much.
No, 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 no.
I thought I was doing something right there. Oh, maybe not. So Pearson is gonna listen to this and be like, "Yeah, I'm not taking off no more. This is scary." So that's what he get. He out there just sunbathing. Y'all gonna call Pearson up and tell him to stop sunbathing because I'm out here just
Right?
all the jokes. I almost fell off the chair before the podcast started, cracking all the jokes. But anyway, what I think we should do is go ahead and go to commercial and be back in 2 and 2, and then we are going to start talking about these hot jobs and get it to going.
My name is Josue Fierro, and I am a recruiter, and I've been with Mesilla Valley going on 3 years now. Before I joined the Mesilla Valley Transportation family, I was at JCU as a loan officer. I feel that I acquired some skills there, providing customer service, learning, to listen to the customer and, learning patience. I think that helped me out right now where I'm at with Mesilla Valley Transportation because I could actually apply those skills to what I do now, which is, helping drivers, getting them behind the wheel and getting them a job. So basically what I do here in recruiting, it's something good. We for sure give jobs to drivers, so it feels good, that we help people. Communication is great there in our department, from leadership to employees. We have a good working environment there, and it feels homey. Like it feels like a home environment. It feels a family-oriented environment. So, yeah. Yes, I acquired skills here at Mesilla Valley Transportation. One of them would be knowledge of the transportation industry. I was not aware of the transportation. I was just more into financing, and I think it's good to know that transportation takes a big role in our country, and we do something good here. What made me apply Mesilla Valley Transportation was basically word of mouth, the reputation that this company has. You see them everywhere on billboards, the trucks on the street, you hear them in the news ads. So you see Mesilla Valley Transportation everywhere, and you just hear from people here, local people saying that Mesilla Valley is great, it's a great company to work for, and I was excited to join. My life changed when I joined Mesilla Valley Transportation in a big way. And one of them was them, of course, providing stability, giving me a peaceful state of mind, knowing that I could provide for my family, knowing that I could do what I do every single day without worries of, job security, in other words. And they actually helped me out a lot as well as far as my daughter. She's 17. She wanted to get a first job in the summer. Marketing was able to go ahead and help me out, bring her in here as an internship over the summer, which she loved. She gained a lot of experience for her being her first job. Now she loves it. Now she wants to go to school for it and get a degree, so she's happy, and I'm happy. I would definitely recommend people to work here. It's ever since I walked here the first day, it felt like a family-oriented work environment. Everyone's smiling, everyone's friendly, everyone talks to you like if they know you for years. So for sure, if I had to go ahead and tell someone, I would definitely recommend someone to work here at Mesilla Valley. My name's Josue Fierro. I'm a driver recruiter, and MVT changed my life.
On this little break, Kayla and I was just chopping it up, and we was like, We just love that commercial. Kayla said it was just her favorite commercial.
That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how much you love it, but we just love it.
That's good. That's good. It's just weird when you see yourself, and hear yourself. It kind of
Yeah.
it's a little bit weird, but it's cool though.
I hate hearing my voice, but you know how like you got to watch your game tapes, quote unquote.
Yeah.
I do not like my voice at all. I'm trying to, I don't know, trying to think differently, but it is what it is. So, but let's go ahead and go to the hot jobs. Let's see, happy. Let's see, 4:30. Oh, look at there. She put the right one up. Love it. This is my favorite one, so you can talk about it.
Yeah, for sure. This is Division 430. This is one of our VIP routes, meaning that we need help. You need to fill some trucks in that we have there. Division 430 is a South Texas regional. We hire out of Jacksonville, Florida. We do hire a 75-mile radius from Jacksonville. And this route is basically from Jacksonville, you go to Houston, Houston to Laredo, Laredo back to Jacksonville. This route does take about 5 to 7 days to complete with your 48-hour home time. Your average weekly earnings is anywhere from 1125 to $1,250 on a weekly basis, and that's just basically going to South Texas and back. Majority of the driving will be I-10, so it's one of those good routes. It's an attractive route, and yeah.
Okay, so let me tell you what I like about this route. With actually recruiting, when I was on the phone and recruiting for quite a few different companies, and as you know, Wiggle on Wheels is not married to any company. When we would talk to drivers, and still now, when Nimmer and everybody talks to drivers, and you get drivers in Jacksonville, a lot of times what they end up having to do is take a paper run. Everybody knows what that route is. And they have to run it up I-95. And they have to do that ship corridor. And they drive that paper run from Miami all the way up. Okay, they don't go through all through the state, but they do have to do all 95 from Miami all the way to Maine. And sometimes they're out a week if they have to go all the way up, or sometimes 2 weeks if they have to go all the way up, or if they halfway a week. But the point of being is they don't want to do 95. Okay, so this is very easy where they're just doing I-10. And then, like Pearson always talks about, is the ones that are on other routes and have to go through Atlanta, which nobody ever wants to go through Atlanta. I have no idea how trucks make it through Atlanta because their highways have skinny lanes. I don't even know how SUVs, that's why they have so many accidents. In my opinion, their lanes are just too skinny for vehicles. That's just my personal opinion. But especially somebody like me that I need to be able to correct. I need corrective room. Um, but and you've been in the car with me, Josue, so you know I need.
Yes.
Okay, I need time to correct. So
So
being does not work well for me. However, yeah, a lot of times when you're dealing with Jacksonville drivers, the route that they get called on for is that paper run that runs not that 95 corridor. With this, you're not doing that. You the most you talking about when you're dealing with traffic is Houston, and they are knowing how to deal with that when it comes to the traffic for Houston and the time of day and things like that when it comes to the I-10 going through Houston. But that's the only time you're going to be dealing with traffic on this 430 route. And there is no bridge or anything when it comes to the water. It's just showing how the arrows are going. So you're going to make that 1125 to 1250 a week. And where the difference comes is depending on whether you're going or coming. Okay. So that is the way that I like to point it out when it comes to this Jacksonville, for the Jacksonville hires. So what is that radius? 75 miles?
75 miles, yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. So we can go to the next one. Okay, so this is 230. Go ahead and explain this one.
Yeah, Division 220. Right now, we're just hiring drivers out of Salt Lake City and out of Albuquerque at the moment. And basically, you'll hit up all those blue spots. You'll hit up Washington, Oregon, and then you drive through California. That would be the main routes where you're going to be doing. And I mean, this is an attractive lane. This is a lane that you can make at up to 2,000 plus a week. This one does take 7 to 8 days, so about a week, a little bit over a week, with your 2 full days at home. You could get anywhere from 1540 up to $2,040 on a weekly basis. And basically, like I said, going to Oregon, Washington, and running through California, depending on freight. And yeah, this is one of the we have right now going on out of Albuquerque and Salt Lake City.
Okay, so what is so hot about this one? So when we have our drivers saying, "Oh, I need to make six figures, I need to make close to it," blah blah blah. This is the run. Okay, so with this one, you can make upwards of 2 grand a week or more. That is a nice amount of change. So this is the run that you are making your six figures or close to your six figures a week. And tell me what hiring areas are we doing? Salt Lake City and what else?
In Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Okay, so Albuquerque, the nicest people in America, I'm telling you, New Mexico, and Salt Lake City. This is for you. So what's the hiring radius? 50 miles, right?
This one, yes.
Okay, 50 miles. It's so small. I would have to put on my readers. Okay, so Albuquerque, New Mexico, and Salt Lake City. This is for you. If you are looking to make six figures or close to it, this is definitely for you. And tell me again, how long are they out?
They're going to be out from 7 up to 8 days out. So 7 to 8 days and your 2 full days at home.
Okay, perfect. So 7 to 8 out and 48 hours at home. Love it. And Vanna, can you give us the next one? Okay, this is Pearson's favorite one right here, 329 Texas Regional. This is a hot one. Everybody loves this one.
They sure do. Division 329. It's a Texas regional. We made some modifications. We added a little bit of Oklahoma, Tulsa, and Norman, and we added Baton Rouge, Louisiana. But it's more centric to Texas. This one hiring areas are Houston,
Houston.
DFW, San Antonio, and Laredo. 75-mile radius from each of those cities. This one, it's 5 to 7 days out, 34-hour home time, and you can make anywhere from 1250 up to 1824 on a weekly basis. Um, the reason it's popular is because you're always going to be close to home. You're always going to be close to home from Houston, DFW, San Antonio. You're only going to be, a day away, close to home. Instead of if you do OTR and you're going to be away for 2,000 miles away, it's kind of hard for you to come home. If God forbid an emergency happened, this one is always good. Just having that peace of mind that you're always close to home. 5 to 7 days out, 34-hour reset, anywhere from 1250 to 1824.
Okay, so you're hiring in Houston, DFW, San Antonio, and Laredo, right?
Correct, yes, ma'am.
And you're out how many days?
5 to 7.
Okay, so you're out 5 to 7 and home what?
34.
Okay, so you're home for a reset. This is a very popular one right here, and it's not always open. So if this is one that you are looking for, guys, definitely jump on it. You make between what 1250 and what a week?
1824.
Okay, 1250 and 18 on this one. So the average is somewhere between 15 and 16. So 100%. If this is what you're looking for, that call us right away. So the telephone number to call is 281 968 3100. I'm going to say it again, 281 968 3100, or go directly to the website at rigonwheels.com and fill out a driver application form, and one of the recruiters would definitely give you a call. So let me kind of walk you through how everything works. These are not the only jobs that we have. First of all, we do recruit for over 40 companies. The idea when you watch the show is you have over 6 months experience, and you are qualified and you are in these areas, that we place you with MVT. If for some reason you don't qualify or you're not in these areas, we place you with one of our other partners that we do have. But with saying that, MVT has quite a few other jobs. This week just happens, this is our hot jobs for MVT this week. Okay, this is where they're hiring out of, but they hire out of Tennessee, Arizona, where else? You know, the that
Yeah, I mean, pretty much anywhere. All you gotta do is just, hit up Rig on Wheels, and I'm pretty sure they could go ahead and
California.
find a.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, just definitely give us a call at 281 968 3100, 281 968 3100. So let's get into this. What happens when you call, and we help guide you through the application? One of the first questions that we are going to ask is, what are you looking for in your next job? What is your mandatory? What are you looking for in your next job? Also, can you pass a drug test? Okay. We're not running into that as much as we used to. um, but companies are needing and demanding professional drivers. That is across the board, and majority of our all of our, not majority, I'm a very black and white person, all of our partner companies, that's what they want. We don't have second chance companies, so there's that. But MVT, you need 6 months experience. So let's say you have less than that. You can come on as a team person if you have someone that someone that has great driving history. They're exceptional driver and they have 18 months or more experience, and they're willing to train and mentor you. They can come on with MVT as a mentor and as a trainer, and they can train you up, and get hired on, and you get hired on with MBT, and it'll be somebody that you're comfortable with. So that is an option as well. But those are some of the questions that we want to know. What are your must haves in your next company? We want you to be open minded, but we want to know, what are your must haves, so we can get that out on the table. We want to be frank about things. We definitely try to give options because we want the decision to be yours and for you and your family. Also, when you make a commitment for the orientation, we don't want you to be shucking and jiving. We want to know that this is a commitment, right? You know that your orientation starts on this particular day, and you're going to show up because you are a man, woman, or a person of your word. We don't have a lot of companies. We have some, but we don't have a lot of companies that's willing to do reschedules. Why? Because their shippers can't do a lot of reschedules. That's not the way things work. Okay. Once you have a job, there can be some type of flexibility in things. But when you first are starting out to get a job, there can't really be reschedules in getting a job because now you're taking the place of someone else that can have that same job. Am I correct, Josue?
You are correct 100%. And that's why I like to be transparent with my drivers. Even like you were saying before, we want to just lay everything in the table. I want to know your deal breakers. I like to say my trucks come with cameras in and out. For some
Mhm.
drivers, they're okay. For some drivers, it's a deal breaker. But I want to kind of just figure out the driver, learn the driver, and see what's his what he likes, what he doesn't like, and try to accommodate. Both of us kind of meet halfways. And yeah, as far as rescheduling, we don't. We know that stuff happens in life. We understand 100%. But like you say, if I have you, Camille, you're locked in. Friday night, you tell me, hey, I'm excited to see you on Monday, and Monday you go MIA on me over the weekend. We could actually just fill that position and that truck with another driver, that is either waiting or he's ready to start. So now we're like stuck with that, just a truck there, with no driver, and we just took up a spot for no reason. So I like to tell my drivers, like, please let me know, if something happens, just let me know up front. We'll see what we could do. All I could do is just ask Pearson and let them know what we could do. But at the end of the day, yeah, like you said, just commitment, and just being professional. At one point, hey, Josue, I'll be there this day, and we'll make sure that we'll plan everything accordingly. Travel, make sure you're taken care of at 100%. But yeah, commitment for sure. It's a big thing.
And for me, just because things happen doesn't mean that the company has to make arrangements around that. Because in the beginning, there is no relationship yet. So there's nothing there to say we need to bend,
Hmm.
okay? Because someone else needs that job. Somebody else could have taken that job that really needs it.
Right.
So let me give an example right quick. We had a driver, and we are a third party truck driver recruitment agency. So I want to say this, and a lot of folk think, oh, you the third party truck driver recruitment agency. You all always want things rescheduled. And you are, no, no, no. Relationships matter to me. And I'm also very big on the fact of somebody else could have taken that really needed the job. And also, I don't like excuses that I know are BS. Like they BS. So, for an example, certain excuses could be the truth. Um, but when you say you need to reschedule orientation because of child care and it's a OTR or a regional job, that doesn't make sense.
Trust me, I had that issue this week, and Pearson called me out. He's like, make it make sense.
Right.
Tell me about, and I was like, I'm sorry, I couldn't, like I couldn't put
I
words
was
together.
mad because I said, well, maybe Josue, the procedure is that you have to say this to Pearson, but I was just so upset because, well, I was upset because I was saying a lot of
Yeah.
words because I was saying to myself that could have gone to a driver that literally needed to take care of their family,
Right.
whether it was a rig on wheels driver or it was ABC recruiting company.
Mm.
Somebody needed to take care of their family, and this week was not able to because that man decided to party too much and couldn't take care of his family. That really that upsets me. And another thing that upsets me is there are people that are out here really advocating for drivers. This is the reason why I don't advocate for drivers, I advocate for professional drivers. But there are people out here advocating for drivers, and then you have ones that are doing things like that. That's a slap in the face. You know, that's ridiculous.
Mm.
You know, you're not having child care issues when you're a driver that's not going to be home to deal with anything with child care. That makes no sense. Somebody else might be having child care issues, but you the main parent that is dealing with that. Things like that. So when it comes to that, I really talk to our recruiters so they are able to communicate with the drivers to let them know if you are one of those drivers, this is not the company to go to. So we have that communication up front. So when you do decide, I'm going to act unprofessionally, it can't be with MVT because it's not going to work. It just ghost me. Don't even call
Yeah,
me to say that. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, 100%. I'm with you. It's
don't
just
even call me. Like it's like a relationship. You know, I don't need closure. Your ghosting was closure enough. Isn't that what they say on Instagram? Okay, now I'm like one of these teeny boppers. Okay, so today might be National Boss Day according to something I just received. So what, or maybe not. So what I did was I got a list of questions, and I did not tell you.
oh,
Sometimes I share this, sometimes I don't. But it's some hot seat questions.
all
So
right,
I did not share them with you purposely.
all right. I'm ready.
Because I want to be able to do this. So what I want to do is take it to next segment. And I got some hot seat questions. I didn't just come up with them, so don't think I'm that smart.
Okay.
So Lydia, Raven, Nimmer, Marcus, all of them threw in some questions, and I am going to pull out of a hat. I'm lying. I'm picking and choosing which questions I'm going to ask you, and then go from there. Okay. So
Yes,
we're
ma'am.
going
Let's do
to
it.
commercial and come right back. Okay, some of this, welcome back, everybody. Some of these questions you may not know because you've never worked for other carriers. Like you didn't even know that some carriers, when it came to driver appreciation week, didn't have drivers there, but that's okay. Um, what are some of the biggest challenges MVT faces in recruiting top drivers? And how does your team address that?
So one of the challenges is at least for me speaking as a recruiter, it would be employment history is one of those off the bat that once I see an application, I scan through everything, violations, accidents, all that good stuff. But then when it comes to employment history, it's kind of challenging. If they have a lot of employment, we could still work something out, but sometimes drivers either forget or they're not truthful on what they put in the application, and later on, other 2 3 jobs pop up, or even something simple as of you putting that you work for Mesilla Valley and you resigned to we get the VOE back, the verification of employment, and it says that you were terminated because you violated a company policy. So something that your application could be going good, either
Either
just you
just
forgot to
had to
put in
put it.
an application, or you just probably just lied about in an application. It literally goes down. So it's one of those things that we are currently looking for, and we're trying to kind of beat it to a punch and tell the drivers a little bit more of what was kind of like the separation between you and Messia. Was it a resignation or something? Because stuff like that could actually put your application from you being an A driver to literally just being like a F driver, like you flunked, and that's just what I mean, like not time wasted just for ourselves, but for the drivers, of course, as well. So it's one of those things. I think it's more like employment history and what they put in the application.
And that's another reason why we tell the drivers, tell us everything. Because some of the stuff that they might say, we'll say, oh, it's not really like that, it's this. Um, and we're able to write it down the proper way. So once they get on the phone with you, they're able to actually say it. It's not lost control of the vehicle, it's this. Um,
Yes.
things like that, because they might be a quality driver, but if they say it wrong, or pulling the information out of them, because not saying something, even if it's something that could have gotten them hired, but if we find out, we being you, Pearson, finds out about it later, it's a no-go. Nobody has time for that. So let us know up front so we can just handle it. Or if they can't be hired now, we can say specifically when you can be hired versus being denied, because then that has it where your hire date is pushed out even further. Times have totally changed as far as what is needed from a driver. Drivers that the industry is demanding professional drivers. Okay. And it's not a human being that is keeping this up here, it's actual computer systems. So the computer system hears, we type stuff in the computer system. So brings it up, and everybody sees it across the board. We're all sharing this information. So if Peter is honest with us, more than honesty, learn this from a relationship podcast. Look at there. Camilla's growing. We're looking for transparency, not honesty. Tell us up front, not tell us what we're asking. Tell us, be honest with us, just not honesty, but transparent instead of just honest, you know. Um, and speaking of systems, we got a question. Kayla brought a question in that somebody said, True Crime Diva, love the name, by the way. What system do you guys use for hire 10th Street? So that's a twofold question for both of us. Us being third parties, we use 10th Street kind of in a different way than MVT does, but we both, yes, use 10th Street. Um, just might use it differently, but yes, we both use 10th Street as our application, DOT approved application. Um, And majority of rig on wheel, yeah, all of, I think one one of the carriers that we partner with doesn't use Tinstry. And of the carriers that we converse with, if they don't, I encourage them to use 10th Street. To be honest with you, just FYI, it's just easier. And it is the application Intella app is the one that the drivers know. So you use what the drivers know. Uh, so just ask your next question, True Crime. While we go into our next question, ask your next question. Um, if you know this, Josue, answer it. If not, just say pass.
All right.
Strategies does MVT use to stand out from other carriers when it comes to attracting drivers?
I mean, that's a little bit more for our marketing team, but I know that, I mean, we work closely with them as well. So we have a team that always tries to stay competitive with, with the other trucking companies. So we have a department that kind of knows what the other companies are doing, so we can kind of stay within the same or excel. But I think I would say a little bit more for our marketing team. Here in El Paso, since the company started here, um, it's a little bit easier because the name sells itself, because we were in Los Cruces in El Paso. We just see nothing but, blue trucks here and on the I-10. So it's a little bit easier because it kind of promotes itself. But as far as our marketing team, I know that they put a lot of work and effort into this. They just had like a golf charity tournament last week. So they invite all these vendors, and you just see Mesilla Valley banners, trucks, and everyone just has a good times. And I know that people go there, and it attracts a lot of vendors and people just in general, just to kind of keep an eye out in Mesilla. So I know that they do a lot of those kind of gigs to throw ourselves out there for sure.
So once a driver joins MVT, what is done to kind of keep them engaged and satisfied?
Well, first of all, we have a specific department that takes calls the drivers on a weekly basis, let them know how they're doing. If
What is that company's name?
it's hella retention, and it's if something's wrong with the truck, we make sure that we either get that truck fixed or we just get them a new truck. And if it's out time, away time, whatever it is, we usually have that team that has all these outlets, which they'll have human resources, payroll, anything that they have a problem with. They are constantly talking to the driver on a weekly basis, and us as recruiters as well. We check up on the drivers and be like, "Hey, Miss Gaines, how's everything going? Everything's going good. Cool. How's you liking the route? I like it. Cool." And I kind of sometimes, depending on the relationship that you build, and I know what you're looking for in the future, I kind of tell you, "Okay, Miss Gaines, don't worry. I still know that you're looking for that Houston local. Nothing has opened yet, but I'll keep I'll keep on looking. And as soon as I find one, I can switch you over to that Houston local." So it's kind of having that relationship with the driver as well. And even after hire, we still have that conversation. It's not just like, I hired you, bye, on to the next driver. No, I still like them to call me and be like, "Hey, dude, how you doing?" Or "How's your little one doing, bro?" And having that relationship. So I like to keep that with my drivers, and even after hire, still call them and let them know what's going on.
So I like that tag team where you have the internal folk like you still talking to the driver, but then you also have the person survey company, which is Hello Retention, that actually calls the driver, talks to the driver, making sure everything goes over well and things like that. So I like that. I like that. That's good. Um, let's go here. I got a hard one.
Let's see.
What does MVT do to promote diversity, equity, and inclusion in the workspace in the male dominated industry?
I mean, what I've seen, it's and what I've heard other recruiters do. For example, Edgar. I sit right next to Edgar. He gets a lot of trainees. He gets a lot of like those team drivers, and I hear him understanding knowing the driver, if it's a girl or a guy, and teaming up with either if it's a girl or a guy. So he always breaks it down into detail, like, hey, like, do you mind, you know, driving with the girl or a woman or a man? And they'll say yes, a man. So they'll put him in a different category, or with the woman, it's fine. And even to the smallest details of smoking, any little detail, like I hear him. I don't deal with it a lot, because I kind of work with you directly, so you make my job easy. You just tell me, hey, this is what it is. But what I hear with him is asking those right questions and make sure that everyone's taking care of, all their needs are basically satisfied. And that's kind of a little bit what I hear when I hear Edgar, for sure.
So to sum it up, is basically with you as an internal recruiter and you're listening to Edgar, which is your fellow internal recruiter, him asking the right question, asking questions basically, so he can understand. He doesn't know, so he asks the question. And as being in different DEI uh, committees and in different groups and stuff like that, that's what we always talk about. Ask questions,
Questions.
because you don't know, and we're not always going to get it right. Ask questions, and so many things change all the time. So
Yeah.
just ask questions and don't assume. I'm keep looking down because I'm not sure if Diva True Crime has said anything else. I can't.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Um, Let us know, Kayla, because that was a good question. So let us know. One more question for you. Um, Now, I know your most rewarding experience in the commercial, but since the commercial, Marcus asked this question. Um, since the commercial, what has been your most rewarding experience at MVT?
After, I would probably say I like talking to the drivers. I really do. So especially like what I like is if I hire you, for example, my driver, 2 weeks later, it's kind of like, hey, dude, what's up with your Giants? Like, it's like if I'm talking to a buddy. Like, you'll be surprised if you go to my phone, you'll see, numbers from a 904, from 678 that are not 915 from an El Paso. There's just different ones. Hey, dude, what happened with your Giants? How's your little one, dude? Is he able to walk? Is he still, is he walking yet? And I think that's cool because it's not even like a buddy that lives here down the street. It's drivers and human beings kind of just, I feel good because I feel like, maybe like we established something good, like a good relationship. Maybe he liked me and I liked the dude and we clicked and it was cool. So that's what I like. And they'll check up on me and be like, hey dude, how you doing? Or how's work? And I'll be like, damn, that's dope. Like, for sure. So that's, for me, it's when they reach after and then they reach out to me and and you know what I mean? So I think that's cool.
The people connection. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, I like that. That's why I'm just driver centric as well. It's different. I'm not a freight girl. It's drivers for me. I would agree with you. It's the people connection for me.
Yes.
Um, I definitely would agree there. Well, y'all know what? We are at the bottom of the hour, the top of the hour. We at summer hour. I'm going to figure out the saying. Josue has made this be very good. I think I am under the weather. My grandson has gotten me sick and I am under the weather, but Josue has made this wonderful. I mean, you too, Kayla. I love you. I love you, Kayla. You're the best producer ever. But we have now come to a close. I want everybody to be super safe wherever you are in the country. Be super, super safe. We love you. Come back on Tuesday. Let's give Pearson hell. No more sunbathing. We just none of that for him. It's becoming a habit. No more sunbathing. But we want you all to be safe. See you on Tuesday, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. Love you guys. Be safe. See you next time. Bye.